At this time, we will have our presentation of colors by our local DAV. Our staff and our distinguished guests, our veterans and their families to our Morgan County High School Veterans Day program. Across this great country and throughout the world, Americans will pause this Thursday to honor our brave fighting men and women. Today, we recognize that all our veterans have given something of themselves to this country and those that have given all by laying down their lives to defend the freedoms we hold so dear. On behalf of our entire school body and staff, we thank you for being part of our Veterans Day program. We honor you not just on Veterans Day, but every day.
Students, staff, parents, and distinguished guests. It is my distinct privilege to talk briefly to you about the historical significance of Veterans Day. Let's start with how it began. Veterans Day was originally known as Armistice Day. An armistice was signed on November the 11th, 1918, to officially cease fire to what we call the war to end all wars, the term coined by our President Woodrow Wilson, the war to make the world safe for democracy, and as history books call it, the Great War. It wouldn't be until some 7 months later that the Treaty of Versailles was signed in Paris that officially ended what we know as the Great War. But historians officially recognize November the 11th hour of the 11th minute of 1918 as the official end of the Great War. Some 19 years later, President FDR encouraged Congress to enact legislation in 1938 that officially recognized November the 11th as a universal date upon which all veterans would be praised for their service and their sacrifices. Some 3 years later, the United States became immersed in the Second Great War of the 20th century. Thus, the Great War, as history books call it, was recoined WW1, or as we know, World War I. During World War II, American soldiers gave great sacrifice, fighting the difficult regime of the Nazis as well as the powerful regime of the Japanese out in the Pacific. Eventually, we would end that war on May 8, 1945. It's called Victory in Europe Day. But the war was not over. It would not be until August 6th and August 9th that the war would culminate with the dropping of not one but 2 atomic bombs on the city of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which would officially end the Second Great War of the 20th century. Most Americans and most people around the world believe that peace would be everlasting. 5 years later, the United States became involved in a military action better known as the Korean War, sometimes officially coined in history as the Forgotten War. In 1954, the Korean War ended in a stalemate. It's in 1954 that the 83rd Congress of the United States of America amended the legislation passed in 1938 and officially changed forever in American history Armistice Day to what we now know as Veterans Day. Many changes have come about. We know that in 1968 legislation was passed to ensure a 3-day federal holiday for all federal employees. The first official Veterans Day was recognized in 1971. It too would be amended. On September the 20th, 1975, President Gerald Ford returned it to November the 11th. Today we recognize not only those that serve, those that are serving, but those that have paid the greatest price, giving their life to ensure freedom throughout the world. In closing, I would like to leave you with the words of the 40th President of the United States of America, Ronald Wilson Reagan. Reagan said, "Those who live today remember those who do not. Those who know freedom remember today those who gave up their life for freedom." Today, in honor of the dead, we conduct ceremonies, we lay wreaths, we speak words of tribute, and in our memories, in our hearts, we hold them close to us still. Yet, we also know, even as their families knew when they last looked upon them, that they can never be fully ours again, that they belong now to God, and to that for which they so selflessly made a final and eternal of devotion. We cannot forget them, even if they were not our own. We cannot forget them. For all time, they are what we can only aspire to be, giving unselfish, the epitome of human love, to lay down one's life so that others might live. We think on our lives. We think on their lives. We think on their final moments. In our mind's eye, we see young Americans in European forests, or on an Asian island, or at sea, or in an aerial combat. And as life expired, we know that those who could not last, we know that those who could have last thoughts of us and of their love for us. As they thought of us then, so too we think of them now. With love, with devotion, and with faith. The certainty that what they died for was worthy of their sacrifice. Faith, too, in God and in the nation that has pledged itself to His work and to the dream of human freedom. And a nation, too, that today and always pledges itself to their eternal memory. To each veteran, the glory of your deeds will only grow with time. God bless you. God bless the United States military. And most importantly, God bless the United States of America.
One Friday night at a football game, the Lord's Prayer said in the anthem, sang a man said, folks, bow your head for the list of love Vietnam Day. Crying all alone under the stands was a piccolo player in the marching band in morning red, but nobody really cared. But a pretty little girl with a bow in her head. I cried, never gonna hold her hand, never let her die too young. For him they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never won't be long when the letter said the soldier's coming. I cried, never gonna hold a hand, never let her die too young. For him they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never won't be long when the letter said the soldier's coming home.
Good afternoon, veterans, or good morning, I should say. There's promises that are made by people that join the military, and many of those promises comes from here, and those promises that are made to not only the people that you serve with, but the people back home. And whenever we talk about the military creeds, those are promises made to our fellow soldiers and also our family back home. And to recite the creeds, here's what we're going to do. If whichever branch of service that we call, please stand up, and then I'll have some of my wonderful students are going to recite the creeds for you all. First of all, the United States Coast Guard, Mr. Samuel Salyers and Mr. Hunter Jarvis.
I'm proud to be a United States Coast Guard. I agree that long line of expert seamen, who by their devotion to duty and sacrifice of self, have made it possible for me to be a member of a service honored and respected in peace and in war throughout the world. I never by work or deed will bring reproach upon their fair name of my service, nor permit others to do so unchallenged. I will cheerfully and willingly obey all lawful orders. I will always be on time to relieve and shall endeavor to do more rather than less than my share.
I will always be at my station, alert and attending to my duties. I shall, so far as I'm able, bring to my seniors solutions, not problems. I shall live joyously, but always with due regard for the rights and privileges of others. I shall endeavor to be a model citizen in the community in which I live. I shall sell life dearly to an enemy of my country and give it freely to rescue those who peril. With God's help, I shall endeavor to be one of His noblest works, a United States Coast Guardsman.
The United States Navy by Mr. Brayson Cook and Miss Lydia Lewis.
I am a United States Sailor.
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, and I will obey the orders of those appointed over me.
I represent the fighting spirit of the Navy and those who have gone before me to defend freedom and democracy around the world.
I proudly serve my country's Navy combat team with honor, courage, and commitment.
I am committed to excellence and the fair treatment of all.
The United States Air Force, Miss Hannah Bowles and Miss C.J. Abby Howell.
This is the Airman's Promise to country and colleagues.
I'm an American airman. I'm a warrior. I have answered my nation's calls.
I am an American airman. My mission is to fly, fight, and win. I am faithful to a proud heritage, a tradition of honor, and a legacy of valor.
I'm an American airman, guardian of freedom and justice. My nation's sword and shield is century and avenger. I defend my country with my life.
I am an American airman, wingman, leader, warrior. I will never leave an airman behind. I will never falter, and I will not fail.
The United States Army, Miss Allie Smith and Miss Abby Keaton.
I am an American soldier.
I am a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place the mission first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough, trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
United States Marine Corps, Miss Carrie Lane and Miss Carleen Neal.
This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My rifle is my best friend. It is my life. I must master it as I must master my life. My rifle without me is useless. Without my rifle, I am useless. I must fire my rifle true. I must shoot straighter than my enemy who is trying to kill me. I must shoot him before he shoots me. I will. My rifle and I know that what counts in war is not the rounds we fire, the noise of our burst, nor the smoke we make. We know that it is the hits that count. We will hit.
My rifle is human, even as I, because it is my life. Thus I will learn it as a brother. I will learn its weaknesses, its strengths, its parts, its accessories, its sights, and its barrel. I will keep my rifle clean and ready, even as I am clean and ready. We will become part of each other. We will. Before God, I swear this creed. My rifle and I are the defenders of my country. We are the masters of our enemy. We are the saviors of my life. So be it, until victory is America's and there is no enemy but peace.
The Veterans Creed. Miss Jimmy Lee Allen, Mr. Zach Keaton.
I'm a United States veteran.
I'm a warrior, find a way of peace.
I serve the people of the United States and live the values of my service.
I have sacrificed for my nation and earned my country's gratitude.
I will work to heal the wounded warrior in heart and body.
I'm no longer an instrument of war and destruction, but of one of peace, hope, and prosperity.
I seek the benefits that I have rightfully earned and will assist those I can with theirs.
I stand ready to lay aside my former title of soldier, sailor, airman, and marine.
And instead embrace the one that unites me with all who served.
I am a United States veteran.
Next, we have Mr. Greg Green, Mr. Chris Lacey, and Mr. Jeff Brown performing American Soldier.
Just trying to be a father, raise a daughter and a son, be a lover to their mother, everything to everyone, up and down, riding dirty, all business in my suit. Yeah, I'm just up for success, from my head down to my boots. I don't do it for the money, there's bills that I can't pay. Just do it. My responsibility. Yeah, I'm real good under pressure, being all that I can be. I can't call in sick on Monday when the weekend's been too strong. Just wait through the holidays, sometimes all night long. You can bet that I stand ready when the wolf growls at the door. Hey, I'm solid, I'm steady. True down to the core, always to my duty, no matter what the price. I've counted up the cost, I know the sacrifice. Oh, I don't want to die for you, the diamonds ask me. I'll bear that cross with honor, 'cause freedom don't come free. I'm a American soldier, an American. Beside my brothers and sisters, I will gladly take a stand. When liberty's in jeopardy, I will always do what's right. I'm out here on the front lines, sleep in peace tonight. American soldier, I'm an American soldier. Sleep in peace tonight, American soldier. An American soldier.
Great job by our teachers for American Soldier. Next up, we have Morehead State Drum Corps Director, Mr. Ben Cantrell.
Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Ben Cantrell. I teach percussion at Morehead State University. I've been really lucky for a long time to be a very small part of the Morgan County community. I've been helping on and off with the band since, I don't know, the early 2000s. And I've had the distinct pleasure of playing music with Mr. Green and Mr. Brown for a long time. So it's really great to be here. One of the things that we do in the percussion studio at Morehead State is we have a drum corps. There's a small blurb in the program about it, but basically percussion, namely drums like this, have been used in a military setting that goes back hundreds of years. And if you take a second to look at the drums, you can see rope on the outside. That's exactly how they worked back in the Revolutionary War. Hundreds of years ago, they were held together by rope because really that's the best thing that they had back then to use that. There's even a small ensemble in the U.S. Army called the Old Guard 5 Drum Corps that still don the uniforms from back then and still play drums like this. So it's okay, you're not going to hurt our feelings if you need to plug your ears. They are not meant to be played inside, they are meant to be played very much outside. They've got a lot of volume to them. But this is our salute to the veterans. Thank you very much.
Next we have Mr. Walker Keaton performing Ragged Old Flag.
I walked through a county courthouse square on a park bench and old man was sitting there. I said, "Your old courthouse is kind of run down." He said, "No, it'll do for our little town." I said, your old flagpole's leaned a little bit, and that's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it. He said, have a seat, and I sat down. Is this the first time you've been to our little town? I said, I think it is. He said, I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, we got a little hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware, and it got powder burnt the night Francis Scott Key sat watching it, right and say, can you see? He got a rip in New Orleans with Pac-Man Jackson tugging at its seams, and almost fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag, but she waded on through. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville, and she got cut again in Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee, the Beauregard, and Bragg, and the Southland Blue Heart on that ragged old flag. On Flanders Field in World War I, she got a big hole from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II. She hung limp and low a time or two. She was in Korea, Vietnam. She went where she was sent by her Uncle Sam. The Native Americans, the black, yellow, and white, have all shed blood for the Stars and Stripes. She waved from our ships up on the Greeny foam, and now they've all about quit waving her back here at home. In her own good land, she's been abused, she's been burned, dishonored, denied, and refused. And the government for which she stands has been scandalized throughout the land. And she's getting threadbare, and she's wearing thin, but she's in good shape for the shape she's in. Because she's been through the fire before, and I believe she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning, and we bring her down slow every night. And we don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her up right. On second thought, I do like to brag, because I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag.
I've been doing this for many years, and I've had students, I'm going to the military. I'm going to go to this or I'm going to go to that. Good, and I encourage it. But anyway, this one kid walks up to me one day, this has been 10, 12 years ago. He says, I'm going to join the Marine Corps. I thought, fair enough. But didn't really think that he was actually being serious about it. And as time moved on, he taught me this early in his high school career. As time moved on, I watched Eric. He was in Mr. Green's band. He was a drummer in Mr. Green's band. And his senior year of high school, he decided he was going to play football. And I can remember I was sitting in the press box, and I'd look down on the field, Mr. Green and them would perform, and there'd be Eric. He'd taken off his helmet, taken off his shoulder pads, and put on the drum, go out there and drum during halftime show, come back, put his helmet and shoulder pads back on, and go back out and play. And he left and he went to the Marine Corps. And probably one of the students, and I've told him this, I never thought he'd make it. I really didn't. And if you could see him now, oh wait, you can see him now.
Hello, Morgan County. My name is Gunnery Sergeant Monchar, and I'm a 2008 graduate. I want to thank everyone for their continued support and want to wish our community's veterans a happy Veterans Day. Semper Fidelis.
The challenges that COVID-19 has presented to the detachment brigade is the requirement of having to execute social distancing in our daily operations. Our current solutions that we're implementing to combat COVID-19 is to execute split operations by having Alpha and Bravo fire teams implemented into our daily and weekly battle missions. Split operations is the implementation of having two separate teams within our daily and weekly training schedule. For instance, Detachment Riga is currently operating in an Alpha and Bravo platoon manner. In other words, our training requirements are being conducted in a port-starboard mindset. Alpha team will execute specific training requirements during the training week, as Bravo team will execute those same training requirements later on during the training. Therefore, the detachment has the least amount of exposure to one another, which reduces the possibility of infection. The training requirements that we're executing during the COVID-19 epidemic are those that are still executable during normal operations, whether it be tactical decision games, executing operational drills, fire drills, intruder containments, natural disasters, so on and so forth, training under stops. Regardless of what the situation that's happening, whether it be at this detachment here in Riga or any other detachment that's within the world that Marines are supporting, our training requirements are going to have to continue.
Hey, get your hand off my gun!
As long as that we can execute the basics, continue working upon the foundation that we've set in our training regiments, remain resilient throughout this entire epidemic, I think we have the ability to come out of this situation as a better fighting force, as a better critical thinker, and as a more well-rounded individual and a team.
Eric actually sent a video. He was a drill instructor at San Diego, the recruit depot, and he actually sent a video of him, doing his thing. And I wouldn't let Greg play that. It scared the living daylights out of me. It brought back so many bad memories that I couldn't handle it. No, I am kidding. I am so proud of what Eric has accomplished. Not just him, but also other students that I've had that's went on to the military, not just the Marine Corps, but the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, National Guard, whatever the case might be. It is sometimes for some people a calling, sometimes it is something that runs in the family, so to speak. Whatever the reason is why we join, it's hard to explain sometimes. But when Eric said this to me, he said, the reason why I joined, because I've talked to him quite a few times, the reason why I joined is because I wanted to be a better man. I said, fair enough. Eric Longshart, former graduate of Morgan County High School.
Good. At this time, we would like to recognize our distinguished guests. I ask that you hold your applause until every veteran has been announced. We'll start right here on the stage.
Jeff Brown, United States Marine Corps, 90 to 94.
Dwayne Akers, U.S. Army 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, 1985 to 89.
Woodrow Ball, United States Army, Basis D4, on tour to Vietnam.
Emily Elam, United States Navy, 77 through 81.
Lisa Gazay, Operations Specialist, United States Navy, 1981 to 2004.
Jim Gazay, United States Navy, 1978 to 1996.
I'm Jimmy Darrell Easterly, United States Army. I served in Vietnam with the 199th Light Infantry Brigade in 1970. for 69 or 70.
My name is Darius Evans. I served in Germany. My final tour was in Germany, 1966, 1968. U.S. Army.
Ronnie Robinson. I'm from Painesville, Kentucky. I've served in Vietnam from September 70 to September 71.
I'm Paul Keaton. Served in the U.S. Army. Went in 1966, came out in 69, served 18 months in Germany and 12 months in Vietnam.
My name is Toby Arnold. I served in the U.S. Army Reserve from 1991 to 2004.
Ernest Bowling, served in the United States Army, 1968 to 1970. Served with the Kentucky National Guard until 1985.
Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you at this time to pay tribute to our veterans with a round of applause.
He will be performing Green Beret.
A lot of you singers has probably seen me here before with this guitar and telling the story of how it originated. I served in Germany 1968 to 1970. In 1969, I built this guitar because I didn't have a guitar, so I just gathered up what materials I could find and a few simple tools. And every veteran knows the soldier has to learn to improvise. So that's where this guitar come from, was from building something from scratch. This song, The Battle of the Green Beret, it mentions men, but we don't want to forget the women who served as well. And so I had a sister and a niece also served in the military. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ballad of the Green Beret. Fighting soldiers from the sky, fearless men who jump and die. Enemy, just what they say, fighting men of the Green Beret, silver wings upon their chest. These are men, America's best. 100 men will test today, but only 3 when the Green Beret courage strong, the green beret, silver wings upon their chest. These are men, America's best. 100 men will test today, but only 3 when the green beret. Back at home, a young wife waits. Her green beret has met his fate. He has died for those oppressed, leaving her this last request. Put silver wings on my son's chest. Make him one of America's best. He'll be a man of destiny. Have him win the green beret. Silver wings upon their chest. These are men of America's best. 100 men will test today, but only 3 when the green beret, and only 3 when the green beret.
Thank you, Mr. Bowden. Next, we have guest speakers, Mr. Jim Gazay and Mrs. Lisa Redding Gazay.
I was trying to set a timer because I babbled. Did you notice the female drummer when they came out and played? Women have always served in our services. They dressed as men in the Civil War and snuck in. They fought during the Revolution. There were nurses that saw combat during Vietnam. Our roles were limited, but as time went on, we learned lessons. Women are now allowed to serve in almost any field they want and in any service. And I want to thank especially the Vietnam vets who weren't welcomed home everywhere. You say thank you for your service today because of the horrible lessons we learned then. And I want to thank you for your service. It is on your shoulders that we stand. I served 21 years, and I enjoyed the travel, and I got to see amazing things, and that's part of service. But even those of us that came back pale and hardy carry memories of those we knew that did not. I saw you all stand and pledge allegiance to this flag, which is wonderful. But I've seen it draped over coffins. And it's important. If you look over there, the veterans are still serving. DAV, physicians, emergency services. Service is part of what we do. But we're getting older. And we need you to serve, to take up the battle and follow the pledge that we all swore our lives to defend our Constitution and our nation and our rights. There are men and women serving right now in dangerous countries to protect your right to be on your phone, dye your hair purple, watch TV, have good. Those rights matter. And these ladies and gentlemen are the ones that fought for them first. Thank you for your service.
Good morning. Hey, come on, you guys awake? Come on. Good morning. That's what I like to hear. First, I want to thank Morgan County School System, Dr. Hamilton, Principal Oldfield. We really appreciate it. On behalf of the veterans, what you do here for us at the high school and the elementary schools, the other programs coming this week, all the performances, Mrs. Oldfield, this is outstanding. Your teachers, your students did a great job today. And it's really touching. And thank you all for that big round of applause you gave us. That really touches our heart. A couple things I'd like to talk to you about today. First, Morgan County has a rich history of veterans. We have soldiers from the American Revolution buried here in this county. We have men and women who have served in every war and conflict from then to now, and up to Gunnery Sergeant Launcher, who's still taking the watch and is out there serving today. You have something to be very proud of. I've always said, when I got to come back home to Kentucky, and I came here, I've been completely amazed at the patriotism and the respect that Morgan County gives to its veterans. Now let's shift. When you go to a veteran and you thank him for his service, there's a psychology going on there with a lot of us vets. You got vets that's very diverse. We're a diverse community. We got combat vets, we got peacetime vets. And when you go up to thank a veteran, that response triggers different things inside that veteran. It brings back memories, it brings back situations, whether they were in combat, even in peacetime. I've come back home on deployments on a ship and lost a couple of buddies. Training exercises, a plane going down, somebody falling overboard, a training accident in a field exercise. So there's that loss for us. And myself, when somebody would come up to me and say, I thank you for your service, the first thought that I had went back to my brothers and sisters who didn't make it home. So sometimes it can be kind of hard for us. But if you engage those veterans, maybe thank them for their service, and then ask them a question. Ask them, where did you serve at? What ship were you on? What unit were you with? Ask them a few quick questions and engage them, and that makes it easier on the veteran. And plus, it gives you that connection to that veteran. How many of your students here right now have a personal connection to a family member or a friend? Raise your hands and start serving. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good number. And then, that's kind of unusual. Because if you look at who served, if you go back to World War II, our greatest generation, 45% of our population at that time served. You bring that up to now, up to Eric Launcher, you got only 4% that are serving. And we're losing that connection with our veterans and with our military service members, who are actually serving now. So it's important that you do engage veterans. For instance, today, this is a great chance to engage veterans. You'll have a better chance. Thursday, the Women's Club is doing their service out at Treadway Park, where they're going to have veterans out there and honor them. That's another chance to engage with them and find out that history and get more in touch with those veterans and find out what they did and what their lives were like. I mean, we have veterans today, any day in Kentucky, there's approximately 4,000 veterans that are homeless. We have suicide rates. That's another thing when you go up and tell us a veteran that you're thanking for your service. You have a lot of veterans who are suffering PTSD. Even the older veterans from World War II. I ran into one the other day. He still has issues from World War II. So think about those guys who are coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq and serving overseas now. So if you engage a veteran and help him and bring him in, that might help that veteran too. I like to reinforce what Lisa said about service. You don't have to just join the military to serve. You can still serve your community in service clubs and other activities in our community which you can go out and serve. Service to community and service to others is a great blessing, whether it's in the military or whether it's Rotary, Interact Club, like a lot of your students here do. That is a blessing and that's a fulfillment of life. And I encourage you to continue doing that. I think that's about all I got to say. We're keeping it short. Yeah, I mentioned the women's. Remember, this Thursday, the Women's Club is celebrating the veterans out at Treadway Park. And once again, thank you, and I appreciate everything you've done for us.
Thank you again to Mr. and Mrs. Pizzaro. Next, we have Miss J.C. Sargent performing God Bless the USA. Our next thing on the program and our last thing this morning is Mr. Ben Robinson with Taps and a Moment of Silence. This concludes our Veterans Day program. We want to extend our sincere thanks to Mrs. Kayla Patrick Bear, over there in the red, for organizing such a great program. We would also like to thank our students who have been very respectful this morning, our staff members, and especially our veterans for being part of this program. We hope